Hi guys, in this tutorial we're going to learn how to make a little basket stuffer layer shag rug for a photography prop. Again, this is just what works for me. It might not work for you, but I'm sure you can find a way. If my method doesn't work for you, I'm sure you can find your own way as we go along. So going over the supplies that you will need. Most importantly, you will need your felting needle. Okay, mine actually, one of the teeth on it broke, so it looks like it only has 2 teeth, but it's supposed to have 3 of them, okay? So felting needle, I got this for like about, I don't know, about $3 or so at Hobby Lobby. You can find these on Amazon as well, or any craft store near you. I got me some of these, the needle felting finger guards, just because I happened to, as I was working on it and as I started felting a little bit faster with the needle, I kind of pricked myself a couple of times. So having these little finger guards are actually really handy. You don't need them, but I mean, I would, just considering how many times I pricked myself. Of course, we have, and don't mind my dogs barking in the background, sorry about that. We also have some glue sticks. You will definitely need a lot of these, and I'll show you guys in the video as to why. And then a glue gun. Okay, mine's very small. If you can get a bigger glue gun for yourself, even better, just because the amount of glue you're going to need to do when you are combining the 2 layers together, you're gonna need glue, a lot of glue, and if my gun was a little bit bigger, it would be even way better. And then, of course, a pair of scissors. Fabric scissors work best, not required. I mean, you're just gonna cut a little piece, so you don't really need too much. All right, and then you will also need your yarn, of course, of your color. The type of yarn that I got specifically here is the shaggiest, I guess, yarn that you can think of. See how it has like these little hairs on it. Let's see, it says here, it's 98% acrylic and 2% other fiber. It's a 6-ounce. I don't know, that's about it. I mean, I don't yarn, so that is why I'm making these rugs. I don't knit or any of that stuff, so I mean, I pretty much improvise, but I'll show you guys. This yarn is, see the end? Okay, that's what it looks like. Okay. Yeah, just getting some of this yarn. This is Homespun brand, or Lion brand yarns, Homespun. That's what I got. Okay, just like a sweater type of yarn, okay? You will also need a felting pad. This pad is essential. You absolutely need the pad. The pad is for you to actually felt the fabric, the felt material, okay? So you absolutely need this pad. If you can get a bigger pad, actually my pad is a little bit too small. See, like see this white piece of fabric here, felt fabric? We're actually going to need what I have to find myself doing is going in sections and felting with the sponge as I go. So if you can find yourself a bigger felting pad, which I saw you can get some on Amazon for like $10, you can actually get a bigger pad. That would make your work go a lot faster, I would say. So just by personal experience, and see, there's this little leftover yarn stuff here on it. So now this felting material here is about a 20-inch by 20-inch size. Basically what I did, guys, I went to Joann's, or you can go to any fabric store, and I just went to the roll of felt that they have there at the fabric store, and I just ordered about half a yard of felt. Used a coupon that was available that day, and I literally paid, guys, for like half a yard of felt material. I paid, I think it was $3.50. And from that, I already made 1 full from that half a yard, and here I'm making another. And I believe I have another piece left of it as well. Once you guys are done, this is what the finished product is going to look like. Okay, so here is the back. Here, this is the back. And what I did, okay, here's the finished product, and then you can see I actually took my time here to felt a whole bunch of pieces in here, okay? Now, I had a few people ask me, see, I'm tugging on it, it's not coming apart, okay? I had a few people ask me, well, you know, is it only going to be good for a couple of times? How are you going to keep the yarn from coming out of the felting material? And is it, you know, basically, is it going to shed a lot? So to answer those questions, yes, it will shed a little bit. First few times that you use it, it will shed, but as the outer exterior little extra layers that are sticking out tend to kind of shed and fall off on their own, the actual rug itself is pretty sturdy and it shouldn't fall apart. At least for me, it hasn't, just personal experience. So what I did is I glued the two felt pieces, and you guys will see, I glued the two felt pieces, hot glued them together, and I'll show you as we go into it a little more how that went. All right, so we're going to start here with point one. I'm going to go through the steps, and then I'll fast forward here to the finished product. Okay, so you're going to take this out. Okay. And first things first, what you're going to need to do is you're going to cut about, let's see. You're going to need about 7 to 8 inch pieces of your yarn, okay? And you're going to need to cut these pieces. So what I found was easier for myself was to just, let's give it a little here, kind of unwind it. So you're going to need about 7 to 8 inch pieces. So I already measured here. This is about 8 inches. Okay, so all I did was just kind of zigzag back and forth, just like that. Okay, just back and forth. That's all we're doing. Just so you're making enough material for yourself. Alright, once you have your bundle here ready to go, you're going to actually go ahead and cut through all these loops here. Every single one. This actually helps me go a lot faster. It's what works for me, but if you find a method that works better for you, even better. So here I am going to cut through all these little loops, hold them up, and just snip right through every single one. And I'm going to do the same process to the other side of the bundle. Just cut right through each loop. This should give you about even pieces. They don't need to be perfect, but like I said, this is what works for me. All right, up next you will need a needle felting pad. Here is my pad, and the way that I get this all set up is I apply the pad right under my material, like so. Okay, goes right under. Then you'll need your needle, of course. And you'll also need yarn. Here's the tricky part. You will need to remove, you actually need to pluck basically out the thread that's inside of the yarn. This is what lines the yarn into a nice perfectly little rope, I guess you can say. So you have to pluck that out in order to create different texture in your yarn. So here it is. You're going to go through every little thing. Some yarn will have 3 threads inside or 2. This particular one I'm making right now has only 2 threads per every strand of yarn here that I'm going to go through. So this is where it gets very time consuming, as some might have mentioned earlier. Having to go through every single strand is, yeah, this is where it gets really time consuming. And here we go, plucking out. And this one, there's a second one here. I'll just pull it through. And we're going to do this with every single strand. As I am plucking the thread out of every strand, what I am doing at the same time, I am running my fingers through some of the strands to create a fluffy like texture and basically debraiding the yarn. And some I'm leaving as is as I remove the thread. That way it creates, I have a different texture. I have a fluffy texture and a tight texture within every strand. Okay, so we're gonna keep removing thread out of every single strand and be patient here. Okay, you're going to grab your needle here, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab my yarn, my strand here, and I'm going to fold it in half and create a loop. And right at the loop, what I'm going to do is that's where I'm going to run my needle in and out from. See, right there. Then you loop it, just like that. Then run it through, just in and out. Try not to stab too hard, or don't try not to go too fast, because then your needle will end up looking like mine. And as you see, mine has only 2 teeth instead of 3. So try not to bend it or apply too much pressure, because it's not necessary, and it will end up breaking your needle. It's my second needle already that I've had to replace because I tend to try to go too fast, and with that I apply too much pressure and then it breaks the needle. So in and out, just like that. And we're going to do this process all the way down. Okay. And same thing here. All right, so now we're going to basically rip this off here And as you can see the thread there. That's your yarn. And as you can see, I put my finger guards on because I almost poked myself. You're gonna do it along the whole edge here. At least that's how I do it. I go right along the edges to kind of frame the piece of fabric. Okay, we're folding it. And this is where your finger guards come in handy. All right, so you remove the felting pad there. And you should have been able to do right along the fabric here, along all four sides. All around. And we're going to do this and loop it all the way around as we go. There's no perfect way to make these, so as you can see, some of the loops here of the strands have a little bit of gaps in between, and that's okay because as you go to texture over and over and over with these long strands, it will cover any gaps. So it doesn't need to be perfect, and after all, this is just a photography prop, so basically it doesn't need to be completely aligned or symmetrical by that matter. I mean, it's going to go in a basket or be used as a backdrop for your baby. Right. So after you have done the entire thing, what you are going to do is basically rip the felting material here out of the pad, like so. Be very careful, that way you're not pulling any of your strands out after all that hard work you did. So pull gently here. There we go. And you should see all the strands that have been filtered through. Okay, that should be all the way around. You're going to be all surrounding the whole entire thing, and you should be leaving a space right in the center where your baby will go. Okay, after you've gone all the way around. There should be a space. That's what it looks like there. See different textures, looks really nice. It's very fluffy, very comfortable. Now, for this next step here, what we're going to do is I'm only going to do a mock to show you guys because I'm not quite done with it yet. But see, here's my hot glue gun. And what I'm actually going to do is apply hot glue to the felted strands. This is on the back side. Okay, once I've hot glued, I'm going to apply my other felt, my second felt material that I had put away earlier. If you remember in the beginning of the video, we needed 2 pieces of felt material. So once you've hot glued, what you do is you're going to do, after there's glue in there, you're just going to rub it down like so. Okay, we're going to go down this way too. And as you apply the hot glue, this is what I do. I just basically apply it down, just like that. And then slowly taper it down. Okay, and then that should be, imagining here like it's all completely done, all glued. This allows all your strands to stay in place. Okay, that way you are not plucking any of your thread out, your yarn. That way you're not plucking it out of the actual felting fabric. That way it stays locked in with that hot glue. That's just the way that I do it. Okay. Now here I'm going to show you guys a finished piece. Okay, that's how it should look when you're done. And as you can see in here, I'm going to show you guys. It's so fluffy, see? Okay, so right in the center. Okay, so here it is completely done. Nice and soft. Right in the center here, this is where baby usually goes. It's perfect for stuffing in your basket, in bowls. Okay, right in there. And it's perfect because you can always just cover it as well. That way there's no white showing. Just like that. All that hard work has paid off.